Welcome to the Stronger Together podcast brought to you by Sandpoint Strength and Conditioning. I'm your coach, Kenny Marquardt. Today I am joined by Jorn Reger. Jorn, this is a cool story because he came to me about 3 years ago with a recently diagnosed medical condition, which I will not tell you what it is because you're going to have to listen to find out. And over those last couple of years, again, which you'll hear more about in the podcast episode, we've seen some phenomenal results through fitness, which is just super cool to me. So I think you're going to enjoy this episode. You're probably going to learn some stuff about Jordan you didn't know. He's just an all-around great dude. So enjoy. So, all right, we're live. We're doing it. Jordan, how do you say your last name? Reger? I don't even know if I've ever said it out loud. So
Yeah, we say it Reger. My wife hears my German family say it differently. They say it more like Rega, but it's Reger in English.
they say it more what?
Rega.
Okay.
Just like right that German, the strong
Yeah.
R. Yeah. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Aggressive.
I've always said Reger my whole life. So I'll go by whatever. You can call me Chuck if you want.
No.
I
And
do
what is
that.
so
Sorry, I've got a unique first name. I have definitely, I don't go to fast food anymore, but when I was like in high school, I would often go to a fast food place and I would just say I'm Michael or like just something like that because I was like, they're going to ask me how to spell it. They're going to mispronounce it. It's easier if I'm just Michael for this cheeseburger.
That's too bad. Jorn's a great name though.
Yeah.
So for like traditionally, would it be more like Jorn or is Jorn? I mean, again, we're going.
It was Jörn before we moved from Germany. So it's the O with the umlaut, the two dots above it. So yeah.
God, you'd be a real pain in the ass at Starbucks if you were like, nope, I want it. This is my name, and I expect the umlauts.
You're gonna hold the O until the other characters come up. Yeah, that'd be cruel.
Nice. Yeah, man, you've been at the gym for 3 years. I just looked it up. That's I'm surprised at that. I felt like I thought it was 2 years ago, but
yeah, Lisa wrote that on the board, and I was like, Lisa, I've been married 5 years, and then I realized it was my gym anniversary, not my like wedding anniversary, and I was like, wow, it's been 3 years. It's crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, life. You've been doing a lot. You're on the. I'd say you're young. You're 29, so that was because your birthday just happened. You've done a lot for 29. I wasn't even. Oh, I was married. I didn't think I'd been married for 4 years. So about the same. But you have 3 kids now.
Yeah. I have 3 kids. Yep.
A pretty big business, I would say.
Yeah, depends on who you ask, but yeah, it's definitely a lot bigger than I've ever run a business. It's growing every day, and yeah, it's super fun. But yeah, I got 3 kids, wife at home, business, real estate, and we're doing everything, all 500 directions you can go.
And yet you seem very calm. Like you don't seem like outwardly you look like you got it all held together.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I try. It's how I live my life. My wife is a huge support of that. I mean, I would say that you see a different side of me at the gym in the morning. It's not like a true full synopsis of who I am. I definitely have a lot more of this than I probably lead on to, but especially around other people and at work, I try to keep it. I've gotten used to keeping it level because if they see a lot of what I do at work is I'm a leader. So when the leader's doing this, it's not good for everybody else. So I've had to learn that, when there's 25 people looking at you, the more you can do this, it's better. I think that comes through in a lot of other situations too, but my wife definitely gets to see the ups and downs as well. So
yes, I can relate to that. But to that point, and exactly what you said is exactly what I told her. And she gets it too. She's in kind of a similar position, but so it's like being the pilot of a plane.
Yeah.
You can't get on the thing every so often and be like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to do my best. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Hop on, climb aboard, everybody. It just doesn't usually go very well. If you were to say that to me, I'd be like, dude, totally. That's how I pretty much operate on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you familiar with the DISC assessment? Have you ever done that one? It's one of those personality tests.
Yes, but it's been quite some time since I did it. I think we just did a recent one. I can't remember which one it was.
Anyway, like that's a little bit of what every business owner has to be. They have to be the D personality, and the illustration that someone told me, right, is like the D personality throws the plane off the cliff and builds it on the way down.
Yes.
right? And then you have some people that need to be around people, so they want to make sure that the plane is built by their homies. And then the C person builds the plane 16 times in their head before they ever build it. So yeah, I feel like that D personality, you got to let it show sometimes, but other times you got to make sure everyone knows the plane is built, even if it's not.
Totally. Yeah. And so it can be challenging.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it is like the outward, I guess what you were saying is the outward appearance that we tend to
Yeah.
see is it's
Right.
all fake.
Yeah.
It's all a show. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Let's talk about your business stuff. Actually, no, sorry. I want to go backwards. I want to talk about why you started the gym because this is a pretty cool
Okay.
story or a pretty cool
Sure.
story and thing I bet that most people don't know. Assuming
Yeah.
you're comfortable sharing it. I'll
Yeah.
cut this out if you tell me no.
I'll share whatever. Yeah, so I was 26, yeah, 3 years ago, and I suddenly found myself walking through the Walmart parking lot. I got emotional over this. I was walking through the Walmart parking lot on the phone with my dad. I had just moved to the States. My wife grew up here. I just moved down here. And I was walking through the Walmart parking lot, and my heart started beating. My face felt like it was drooping. I slurred my words, and I would like literally to my dad, I was like, I'm having a stroke. And I literally like I'm walking up to the doors of Walmart, and I like put my hands on the wall. 35 seconds later, everything's fine. Like I could have run a marathon is what it felt like 35 seconds later, just good as new.
Like
And
because of energy, you mean energy wise? Like, or that
no, I
was
just
it
like
that big of a swing around, or you mean like you just get back to normal? Sorry.
it
Just
was back to normal. Like
okay.
what just happened to me? Like it's like something just glitched out. Like the computer mouse just went all over the place, and 2 seconds
Yeah.
later, it's like not 2 seconds, but a minute later, it was back to normal. It was our church retreat weekend. We go away for a couple of days with people from our church. So I headed home to that. Saturday, I had two more of those attacks, is what I called them. By Sunday, I had three or four. Monday morning, I went to the doctor. By Tuesday, I had 43 of these, what I called attacks. My left side seized up. My heart felt like it was beating out of my chest. My vision disappeared. It was crazy. It was like the wildest thing ever. My wife is super into natural remedies and stuff, so we were just immediately looking it up. Like, what could it be, right? You go on WebMD, and WebMD tells you, hey, I got a sliver in your finger. You probably have 4 minutes left to live. But we found some legitimate stuff, and it's like, wow, this is likely some sort of autoimmune disease that's now spiking up. And sure enough, I got the MRIs a couple of weeks later, and I found out that I had MS. I was diagnosed with MS. Go through the emotional roller coaster. My life is over. What's going to happen to me? But immediately, two things were super, super clear. I either had to get on the pharmaceutical drugs, which we were already like looking into, and the side effects of just all that medicine's crazy, right? Like I'm 26. If I want to live till I'm 80, I got 50 years of medication. That's not really top of my list for things I want to do. So we said, okay, well, what's the alternative? And the alternative, with lots of people's success, is major diet change and living a active life. But I was still early on. I couldn't be on the roof, right? At that point, my roofing company was me on the roof 8 of the 10 hours of the day. I couldn't be on the roof. When I basically got kicked off the roof, I was like, okay, well, I got to keep my body moving. I got to get stronger. MS wants to attack all parts of your body. And if you let it, it'll just kind of deteriorate you down. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I found another gym. I knew that I wasn't the kind of person that could show up to Anytime Fitness. I don't know. We don't have one of those around here, but like I couldn't
Yeah.
show up to one of those 24/7 gyms at 10 o'clock at night with my hood on my head, headphones in, pumping iron. That
Yeah.
wasn't the kind of person I was. So I found your gym and think I called or texted or something along those lines and said, hey, curious what you guys have going on and how I could join. And it was actually you. I don't know
Yep.
how many of them you do anymore. I think you've got quite a lot of coaches and trainers that do some of these onboarding like
Mhm.
meetings, but you and I sat in a room and I said, hey, I got to move my body. I got to try to get my muscles stronger wherever I can, whenever I can, and beat this thing. And I don't know what you sold me, but you sold me some magic powder that just solved all my problems. And there I was. No, I think
Here we
you
are.
gave me a legitimate roadmap that said, hey, CrossFit, which I knew nothing about at the time, is like, hey, CrossFit moves every part of your body. So you can go to the gym and you can bench press every single day, and you'll probably bench press more than all your friends in a few months, but your legs will look like chicken legs and your body won't move. So
Yeah.
I was enticed by the idea of like more of that full body workout. I jumped right in and I haven't looked back since. I've had seasons where I haven't come as much. You know, you get that month where it's like, I can't make it to the gym very much this month. And I've had some months where I'm at the gym 6 days a week. So right now I'm consistently hitting that 3 times a week, and that's feeling really good for me. And yeah, I can't believe it's been 3 years, but it's been super encouraging and exciting to be at the gym. So
What are your
yeah,
symptoms like now?
there's the
Like, what's the evolution of symptoms been over the last 3 years?
So I don't get those attacks anymore. I've probably had two of those in the last 3 years. I get some blurry vision if I eat the wrong thing or like my stress level spikes. Exhaustion is a pretty common one that just kind of stays with me, and I try to fight that quite a bit. It's hard to get up sometimes in the mornings, and I'm just more tired than I think I should be for a 29-year-old. But for the most part, it's very calm and regulated, which is
Yeah,
really what I'm doing. It's regulation. It's keeping it diminished as much as possible. Yeah,
that's awesome.
anti-inflammatory diet and keeping my body moving has worked out well.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And
I
I think
remember.
there's somebody.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. There's somebody else at the gym who I think has a very similar story to me. I think I don't know, but I think I've been told Lisa's told me about it. I think she's a bit older, but the same thing, diagnosed with MS and doing the same thing I'm doing. So it's cool to see other people are achieving the same or similar result and not some anomaly, and other people are doing really well with it, and I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, I loved. I mean, when you and I met, I transparently, I know what vaguely. I think I knew what the disease was. I think I knew
Yeah,
a little bit about the symptoms. I knew a couple of people that have had it, but I didn't really. I'm not a
yeah,
doctor. If you didn't know,
sure.
I'm pretty sure I said that to you at the same. But like theoretically, it was just like I think in theory this sounds like it makes a lot of sense. I can't tell you for sure this is going to be a miracle. This might be the
Yeah,
worst thing you've ever done.
right.
I'm
I
not
do remember
sure.
you telling me that. Yeah,
I try not to
I remember you
BS
telling me.
people.
Yeah, no,
I try
you're
not
like
to BS people.
this could be great, or you and I might be sitting in this room 2 weeks from now and telling you to go home. You had no idea, and I had no idea, and we said we'd try it, and if it worked, it worked, and if it didn't, we'd shake hands and figure out something else. You were willing to help me with whatever it took, but I would say the gym has been a crucial part to me, just maintaining the level of health I'm at.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to hear it, and I think you've made it pretty. I think the connections and that group you work out with is pretty fun to be around too. So
Yeah,
makes it
6
better.
a.m. class, shout out. 6 a.m. class is awesome. I
Yeah.
come to an afternoon class a few times a year, and it's just not the same.
No, it's true. You
You
guys are
know?
different. A lot nicer than people think. Most people have this like
Yeah.
weird. Again, I've talked about this every single time I have somebody on the podcast from 6 a.m. I'm like, see, they're really nice. They're great
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got some real gems in there. But
Yeah.
I mean, the level of weights lifted at 6 a.m. might be higher, and maybe that intimidates certain people. I don't know. I'm not one of them, but I work out across the aisle from Ben, and it's like, oh man, okay. If you want to pick up my truck next, like,
Glad he's
so
on our team.
I could see that being intimidating.
Yeah, maybe we should move him. Maybe that's the problem. Is he's the first thing you see when you walk in the door.
Yeah, put him in the back corner.
Yeah, I'll put Ben in the corner. Tell him. I'm not going to.
No thanks.
Yeah, let's talk. So then, I do want to talk about business because I think that's like you have quite a quite a thing from my perspective. I mean, you're running a pretty solid business, which again, depending on, I always laugh at that as I like, oh, looks like you have a successful business. I'm like, yep. I can come back over here and I'll show you some stuff.
Sure, yeah. I think every
But
business has that closet. Yeah.
well, that's what I think all their business owners get it. I think I can say his name without saying anything crazy. Sean said the same. Sean Bam at the 6 a.m. He usually works out with you too. He's as the North Idaho Electric. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Anyways,
Sean.
he says that to me before. He's like, "Man, it looks like you got a great business." And he kind of winked. He's like, "I know. That's how mine is too. I could tell you all the like cracks in the walls and whatever
Yeah,
else that I." So, anyways, you're running a pretty great operation, and to be 29 and leading 25 people, that's pretty impressive.
yeah.
Tell me that
It's
story.
been
Like,
fun.
how'd you? Because that was a family.
No,
No.
my dad runs a pretty successful business, I would say. Again, wink, wink, I don't know. But my dad started a business 2006, 2007, like probably the worst time to start a
Yeah.
business. We had just moved from Germany to Canada at the time. I don't think they had very much money. And to start a business and then immediately go into '08, I don't think was great for him, but I think they were small enough that they weathered through it okay. Yeah, he runs a big business, but nothing to do with roofing. But I always saw it. I was always interested. I didn't want to work in it. I wasn't. You could ask him. I wasn't the teenager that was like, "Yeah, pick me, Dad. I want to come work in your shop all summer long." That wasn't me, but it was interesting to me. I graduated high school. Graduated early. Kind of skipped ahead and did extra classes so I could be done with school earlier. And my dad said, you know, you can continue to live at my house if you either get a job or you go do some sort of post secondary education. And I was like, well, I'm definitely not going to school. I just finished that, Dad. That's a ridiculous thought. So I went job hunting. You know, I did Sport Check. I went to just like these outdoor stores. Bike. I was into biking, so I went to bike store. But I'm sure my attitude was I want a job, but I don't really want a job that badly. I was 17. I was like, I didn't need money. I'd made a bunch of money doing other little things throughout my time, and I was living at home. So who needs a bunch of money? My dad hooked me up with a friend of his that ran an electrical contracting company, a landscaping company, and a roofing company, and it happened to be March. So March is about the ideal time to hire a roofer because you're just getting going. A week later, I was on a roof. Phenomenal first day experience. I think I have one of the best first days of work. It's like 6:30 in the morning. It is dark outside. It's Canada, so it's cold. It's probably in Fahrenheit, it's probably like 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Like it's pretty cold.
This is in
There's
you were in
this
Lethbridge, or
is
is this?
this is in Lethbridge, Alberta.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is in Canada.
Yeah.
It's like 10 degrees outside. There's a foot of snow on the roof. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna tear the roof off and put a new one on. I was like, well, what are you gonna do with the snow? So they put the ladder
That's your
on,
job, new guy.
they put a harness on me. They like helped me kind of get to the top of the roof. When there's snow on the roof, it's pretty safe to walk up there.
Yeah,
And
sure.
they literally like lassoed the rope around the chimney, and I was tied off to the chimney. And then they gave me a shovel, and they're like, shovel. And then they got off the roof, and they got in their truck, and they drank coffee until the roof was clear.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, this is stupid. This is not fun. I was like, well, I'm gonna just, yeah. But, you know, come 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun had come out. It was probably like 50 degrees. And I was like, oh, you know, this isn't too bad. I could get used to this. There's no more snow. The snow was melting.
Shoveled it all off. I think it's probably.
I shoveled it all off, and then the sun melted the rest. Yeah, I just kind of got into it and did that for a few more days, and then it started getting warmer. It was like right at the end of March where things are starting to get warmer, and I was like, wow, working outside is not bad. Got my first paycheck. It was $1,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I could do a lot with this.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stuck with it. Did that whole season, and it was great, other than the fact that the guys I was with were smoking all day, not just
Mhm.
cigarettes, but all sorts of stuff. You did anything wrong, or you did anything that they didn't like, and you got cussed out. And I didn't love the people. Next season, I worked with my cousin's boyfriend, same thing. Like, it was cool, but like they weren't great. They weren't super nice. It was just not like, it wasn't a very cooperative work environment. It's show up, get the work done, get yelled at, go home. So come the third year of roofing, I was then in college. I went and did 1 year in the business program, or dropped out, but I started it and had a pretty cool job. I was the manager of a car wash, one of those like fully automated drive-through ones. And I was like, yeah, I don't really need to go back to roofing, but I'll do a few on the side. You know, I'll tell my friends and family that I'm roofing, and I'll do a few extra roof and make some extra money. And that grew pretty quickly to the point where I got a bunch of work. And then I said, okay, I could do this full time. And then kind of went from there, and then did a few more years of that in Canada. So that was about 2018. I think I got married in 2019. My wife joined. So it was her and me and a couple others, and we just kind of kept growing it. But it was small. It was two of us on a roof, and I think at the most we had three other employees. So then we moved to the US and just kind of restarted. Hired my sister-in-law. And January, we're shoveling snow off a roof for a local contractor here in Sandpoint. My first roof that I did in Sandpoint is up on Baldy Mountain. It's a new construction roof. And yeah, it was just kind of started there and put my name out on Google, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And that was January. Come July, August, we had 9 guys on the roof because I couldn't keep up. And it was lots of fun. I had 2 of my brothers working with me, my sister-in-law. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law working for me, and I did that for a whole season. And then that next season, got off the roof a little bit more, just right, like I said, eight of the 10 hours on the roof because I had to do some of the other stuff and it was getting busier. And then that October is when I found out that I had MS and kind of kicked me off the roof. And I said, okay, well, I got 2 choices. I can either give up the roofing thing and go find some desk job somewhere, and wasn't interested in doing that. And I said, or I can maybe try to grow this thing to a point where I don't have to be on the roof all day to make money. And that's the route I went. And it just kind of kept snowballing from there. Reached out to my dad a lot for advice and help, but just tried to live with the mentality of do the next best thing right away. And just kind of kept going and going. And then the phone got too busy to answer, so then I hired someone to work in the office. And then they were too busy to answer the phone, and I was too busy doing estimating that I needed someone else for estimating. And it just kind of kept going and kept going. And all of a sudden, I had too many guys in the field for me to watch them. So then I had to hire someone to watch the guys in the field. And every step has just been that way. It's, hey, we're grown, we're at this point, we need this, and we need this. And the work just keeps coming. So we're very grateful, very blessed. The Lord has blessed us with an incredible amount of work. And I got some awesome people working here. So now I'm at a point where I choose to do a lot of the things I'm doing. But last year I took a lot of time off from the business and just let it run so we could go do things. And this year I've wanted to try to get back and fix a few things that I saw that weren't working. But I've got great people that work here. So it's I can leave and go do something else if I want to, and know that it's not going to burn to the ground. So yeah, that's kind of how we came from getting tied to a roof, shoveling snow, to here I am sitting in our conference room in a huge shop we bought this year with roughly 25 people working here. So yeah,
that's incredible.
Fun.
That's so awesome, man.
So yeah,
it's hard to do. How do you? I mean, what's like? You said this, but I think the way you said was like you just wake up and what do you say? You do the best thing for the business, like
do the next best
trust
thing.
Your gut.
That's all you can do. You can do the next best thing. The next best thing is to hire someone, then go hire them. You just got to do the next best thing and try not to get stuck.
On a whim, like, well, I mean, do you tend to make the right decision on the knee jerk? Like, you know, like you know what I mean? Like, there's some contemplation. Like, it's the balance between jumping off the cliff and building the thing on the way down and figuring, screw it. Like, let's just hire this. I need someone. I'm gonna hire him. I'll figure it out. Good luck. Versus sitting around waiting and hoping the problem goes away.
Yeah, I'm more the guy that builds the plane 16 times in his head before he starts. But especially in the earlier years, I didn't have time for that. The plane's flying. So you're not rebuilding it right now. You need to fly it. So I learned out of necessity, and I think all business owners, you can probably speak to this, like you learn how to, out of necessity, make a decision in a snap. Yeah. Now, at the point we're in the business, snap decisions are normally not great. You can do well with them and you can make good snap decisions, but you should eliminate as many chances of having to make snap decisions. So now we're going away in December to do 3 days of like strategic planning where the phones are off and we're really trying to figure out step by step what we're doing next year so that we know months before we need somebody that we need them, instead of being like, I need somebody tomorrow or we're in trouble. So now we have the luxury and also the ability to think ahead and plan ahead and make strategic moves, but there's still plenty of snap decisions that you have to just try to take in all of what you can in a short amount of time and make a decision.
Yeah, I say this because I mentor other gym owners and I try and like it's a blessing to be able to make it freaks people out because they're used to in terms of like at the maturation of a business, what I tend to see is in the beginning, it's almost all like off of adrenaline and just momentum and excitement. Yeah. And you're making decisions on the fly and it's all brand new and exciting and you're really focused on getting through the day or the week or the month. And then you get a little bit longer of a horizon. And it's like, okay, what do you want to do next year? And then those are bigger decisions. They're slower decisions. And then it's, what do you want to do in 10 years? And what do you want to do? And do you want to pass this down to your kids? And it's a little bit the training, like the internal training and wiring that you lay down for yourself in the beginning. Retraining that can be really difficult for people because they're used to doing the snap. They think they have to make the decision really fast, or they have to do something right now. And it's an interesting evolution of skills. And some people, I've watched them not be able to develop it. And I screwed it up a bunch because it was like action. Like, wait. Like, maybe we could just settle down. And there's a balance there too. So yeah, interesting. It's just,
I think you
different.
You kind of have you've probably got some of these people in your gym too, where like you bring them on and you're like, well, I used to do that, but I'm passing the torch on to you. And then you watch them and you're like, I would have made that decision. I would have done this. And it's you're like watching, you're analyzing critically what they're doing. And it's like, man, you just want to get in there and like do it. But it was very tough for me to pass things off. I'm very anal about things. I'm very OCD about things. I wanted them to look a certain way. So when I passed the torch on to someone else and they weren't doing it to that level, like I had to strategically come in and coach that instead of just like trying to fix it myself. Because that was my first response. I was like, go do it. Go do it, right? And you can't pick up that thing, I'll go pick it up. And that's been a hard learning curve forever for me. Not forever, like the last few years of just growing. It's like, okay, well, I've put a leader in place. I got to train the leader, but also trust that they're going to do it and let them fail every once in a while. But that you either get stuck there or you don't, right? I think I've seen this from friends of mine or other contractors that I know. They get stuck. They can never pass it off. Right. Mm-hmm. Or they'll tell you that, right? They say, I can never pass this off. No one can do it like I can do it. And it's like, well, you're actually not that special. You just you don't have the ability to let go of something. And that's really hard for a lot of people to do. So I'm not saying I'm good at it. I struggle with it daily, but I've tried to get to a point where like put someone in place, trust them, coach them, fix their mistakes, but let them do it without jumping on their back every 5 seconds.
Yeah, totally. It's spectrum there too, because
right, like imagine Kenny never said nobody can lead a gym class like I can. You'd be leading every gym class and you'd have 4 of them a day and you'd be burnt out and you'd have 30 members.
Dude, I tried that for quite a period.
You couldn't do that. You can't be the only guy leading a class. So yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a touchy subject. Not anymore. No, and I don't mean that like I don't want to explore it. I'm happy to talk about it because there was a period of time when I started the gym and I did 90% of everything. Yeah. Maybe and again it's pretty specific with the gym, but people built a relationship with me. And you can only do that for so long. Working absolutely. The 6 a.m. on Monday to the 6:30 or 5:30 p.m. on Friday with maybe 2 afternoons off, trying to do everything else. Like the passion erodes pretty fast. Yeah. And, by Friday, I was a total asshole to everybody. Not everybody, but, you try and put on the happy face and someone asks you about what this is for the 7,000th time. And it's not their fault. Like, they're coming in to turn their brain off, right? Like, in a rational sense, like, I totally understand. Like, they're not paying me to, like, have them memorize what things are. But anyways, you start to see exactly what you said. Like, I was just losing my mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Loving what I was doing, but just you can't do it like that forever. So I started to kind of evolve my way out, and it was not. I think there was a couple things. Like one, I didn't do it very eloquently. Like I think I was just kind of the point where I was like, I have to step back, or I'm gonna burn this place down. So I got to just put people in place and take some time off. Right. But in any case, like, yeah, what you said was like, I think that wasn't, I'm not sure that was the question you asked, but like, you can't do all things for all people at all times.
Yeah. No, I was curious how you did that. Cause I mean, like you said, the passion gets eroded pretty quickly when you do 90 hours a week. 90 hours a week is a sacrifice that most business owners know. But you ask any business owner after the fact, you're like, would you recommend working 90 hours a week? They'd probably say no. They'd probably be like, it's probably not worth it. I could probably work 55 and have a couple employees and be much happier. You ask the wife and they would definitely say that. Yeah. But you go through a season where that's what you need to do. I give or take
Totally.
a whole year of that, right?
Yes.
Like it's 80, 90 hours a week. You're working Monday to Saturday, and then you're working Sunday afternoon in your bed doing all the other stuff. And that's what it takes. But at some point, you can't do that forever. Maybe somebody can. You find me that person, somebody can, I'm sure, but it's not sustainable. So you're
That's the word. That's the forever sustainable. It's about, I think that, I think about everything in terms of exercise, even when I was burned out, like I still like, that's my language. And so it was like, hey, if I'm going to run this race for the rest of my life, like I got to go at a pace that I can sustain. And if I'm
yeah,
doing this, like I could care less if we go out of business next month because I don't want to do this anymore at this point.
yeah,
But then
definitely. Yeah.
backing it off and saying, okay, like we're going to make some changes. We're going to try and grow a little bit. We're going to do the thing. But if the expectation or intention is to operate this, to make this a 30-year business
Yeah.
that really impacts the legacy of Sandpoint, then like that's a very different set of skills, and it can definitely sprint. If I'm looking at this as a race, like I can sprint, I can dig in, I can, conquer the crane. I could do the things for sure. COVID was an example, but it's certainly not something that I think people should be doing at all times. And I could spin this back around to nutrition or whatever. It's like, hey man, you can go hard on strict nutrition stuff, but it's probably not advisable. So
Yeah.
did you have somebody mentoring you through that stuff, or were you smart enough to know that it just wasn't? You said you mentioned your dad, but did you have anybody else that was guiding you through some of those decisions to say, "Hey, stupid, get off the roof"? I know MS kind of brought you down, but
Yeah.
to
My dad was encouragement. I'm trying to think if there was anybody else. I'm sure there's lots of other people in passing and smaller bits, but I was lacking a mentor for sure.
hmm,
That's definitely something that I've got more of now. That if I could encourage any young business person who's just starting,
yeah,
find yourself somebody who's done it because they can help you a lot to avoid some of those pitfalls. They can encourage you because they know that 90 hours is what it's going to take right now. You need someone to tell you, hey, 90 hours, but it's not 90 hours forever. It's get to this finish line. I think you get very short-sighted in that where you're like, my 90 hours doesn't have an end. It's just like I'll just restart when the 90 hours is up. Man, I mentors and like coaches are so valuable. But on the flip side of that, I've tried to stay away from pretty well just because I'm pretty frugal. But um, you can go out there and spend money on coaches like out the yeehaw.
oh yeah,
You can spend $5,000 a month on a coach who talks to you 4 times. And it's like, well, I hope this meeting was worth $1,250 because it was to me, the guy who made 1,250
thanks. Yeah,
bucks. Um, but I think there's lots of guys out there that would just mentor you for free.
totally.
They're maybe not as consistently as a paid coach, but find that person who can encourage you and maybe just like help you see outside of your cloud that you're swimming in. That is so encouraging and so important. So my dad was definitely important in that. And then I try to find different kind of mentors and coaches along the way. And got a coach right now that I'm working on a lot of personal things, right? It's like, what am I doing at work? Where are we going? It's less about what dollars should I spend. I don't know if I need those coaches. I think Chance and myself, my COO, we have that mindset to think about those things, but like impact, employees, right? Like we don't have an HR, but man, you have 25 employees and you start having these issues that you got to solve, right?
Yeah,
People want these benefits, people want these hours, people have these work circumstances. Yeah, you gotta learn those things at the same time. You can't just sell and do roofs. It doesn't work.
yeah,
At some point, other factors have to get put into play as well. So,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure. I'm I'm a business coach at other gyms. It's not even
yeah,
so much
right,
business; it's just a mentor. Like that's
sure, yeah,
so. But I mean, I'm a huge proponent of it. Like, what you said is nails. I've had bad mentors, and they weren't bad people. So there are those people out there, like what you're talking about, where it's
sure,
like, hey,
yeah,
I got a flashy thing, and I'm gonna stand in front of my gent that I actually rented for the hour for my photo shoot. And if you pay me for 50 grand this year, you can hang out with me.
yeah,
That there are those people out there, but I also think that there's the most important thing in a mentor or coach is having them understand where you want to go,
hmm, yeah,
and that they kind of, like I said to you in your, not to toot my own whatever perspective on the thing, but it was kind of I understand where you want to go, and I'm pretty sure that I can help you get there.
yeah,
Or you can say, I definitely, like if there was a fitness coach for people with MS. Like they can say, this is what I do. I 100% will get you from where you are to what you just described is where you want to go. But I also have had mentors where they're steering you where they want you to go.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they got to understand where you're at and where you're wanting to go.
Yeah.
I mean, right, we could go back to that conversation. Hey, I think the gym could be beneficial for me. And you said, I think it definitely can be. So let's try it out. Or you could have been like, yeah, I think you should sign up for the whole year, buy 12 months, prepay, I'll give you a discount, right? Like,
you should work with me
yeah,
every
exactly,
single day
right?
for
Yeah,
$5,000 a
yeah.
month. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I've got
would
a
be
special
great.
package,
Paid
special
up front.
package just for you. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's important to have somebody in your corner that one is cheering you on, two is helping you just like bounce ideas off of. I got to work with a guy now, Jeff. It's a lot of what we do. It's like, hey, Jeff, this is what I've been thinking about. And he'll be like, yeah, have you thought about this downside? Or that's phenomenal thinking, but could we take it a step further, right? He's like a bouncing block for his ideas. This is me. Some people will need this. Some people are good on the other side. I don't need a mentor who says, you should do this marketing to get this many more roofs, so you can get this much more money, so you can get this many more employees, so you can go buy a jet.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. But
Right.
I need a mentor who says, I'm thinking about doing this for our employees, and says, that could work, but have you thought about maybe doing something more along the lines of this? Because I think it'd probably be more beneficial for where you think you're going.
Yes. Yes.
A bouncing block. Someone who can be a credible bouncing block that you trust their answer from.
That they ask more questions than they give you answers.
Yes.
With my hours, I
Like
try.
Yeah.
It's just they kind of just they coach you through your own shit, and then at the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that. But I try and spend 45 minutes asking questions, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, well, what should we do about that? And then they usually know.
And then the way I can only imagine. I've talked to you enough times. I'm sure it's 45 minutes of questions, and then it's probably 15 minutes of questions that coach them.
Yeah,
like leading questions. Yeah, who goes to a therapist and wants them to like fix their life by listening to the therapist? Like, you could probably go to the library and there's probably somebody reading a book to you that you could do that instead.
Totally.
You go to a therapist to discuss and hear your heart, and I don't know. I'm not going to the therapist right now, but that's what's going on, right? You're sharing and they're bouncing stuff back to you. Yeah. I have never heard of anybody going to the therapist and being like, well, therapist, I've got an hour with you, so tell me what you want.
To be lectured.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's really like it all is somewhat the same in terms of whether it's therapy or coaching or mentoring or there's nuance to it, but at the end of the day, it's about figuring out where you're trying to go, what problem you're trying to solve.
There is really no right or wrong. I always forget his name. 7B Handyman. He comes to the gym in the morning.
Oh, Nick.
With us. Nick. I can't remember Nick. I talked to him this morning. We were both at class like 10 minutes early, and people were really late this morning. Everyone walked in last minute, but we talked for quite a while. He's like, I had the employee thing, and I just decided that it wasn't worth it for me anymore. Yeah. I didn't like the stress. And he works with his sons. I bet you the guy makes phenomenal money, has a significantly lower level of stress. And when he wants to go fishing, he says, sorry, customer, I'm not coming. Me and my sons are going fishing. Yeah. And that is right.
Yep.
Running a business with 25 employees is right. And being Amazon is right if it's right for you. And I think a lot of people get stuck in this like comparison game. In everyday life, they get stuck there. But then in business too, it's like, I just need to get to here. I just need to get to here. And then I'll have the money. And then I'll have the jet. And then I'll have this and this and this. And it's like that, like you gotta find out where you're wanting to go, not where other people are going and what you're seeing. We have plans. I have goals. My wife and I have goals. And that's what we're working towards. Not because anybody else is doing it, because it's where I want to go. It's what I want to do. And it could change. It can change every 5 minutes. In business, it changes every 5 minutes. But I get to change that. And that's why I don't have a partner in this business. I got Chance as a COO, and he gets paid off some of the profits and things like that. But nobody owns a thing here other than me, because in theory, if I wanted to be done tomorrow, I'd just close the door and sell everything. Like I could do that because it's mine. It's mine and my wife's, and we'll agree on things. But I don't want a partner because it it would put you in a spot where it's like, now I have somebody else's family that is determining where we're going. And I don't ever want to have that headbutt battle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I completely get it and agree with the sentiment behind what you said. Is that like just
Yeah.
I think it's about running your own race. The complication to that, there's two things I wanted to not interject, but kind of add to that is one of the finding somebody that you trust to mentor or coach or who's in a position to be an impartial second or third party, but has experience with, where you want to go. And then once you find them, like trying to be as appropriately vulnerable as you possibly can.
Right.
By being your authentic self. And I think that's a little bit fresh in my mind because I had this conversation with one of my mentees today. And he was like, dude, it took me like 6 months to really tell you what I actually, like, it was such a bit of a, like, I was so embarrassed to tell you all the problems I had in my business and all the things I was trying to, yeah, totally. And I was like, I'm pretty open with you, man. He's like, yeah, I know that really helped. But in any case, like if he would have just cut the shit and we could have just gotten down to solving it. And same with fitness.
You got to be vulnerable, but you got to find someone who you can be vulnerable with.
Right.
I think that kind of relates back to me at the gym. Like man, when I first started, I didn't legitimately look at Ben. I was like, I want to be like him. But like, I looked at some of the people in the gym and be like, okay, well, they're doing this workout in 11 minutes. I'm doing it in 12. I got a minute of improvement I need to make. And then it's like, okay, well, they're lifting more weights. So I'm going to need to take the next 6 months and make sure I get stronger. I've just really quickly realized that I was like, what makes me come to the gym is how I feel after the fact. So then some days I show up to the gym and everybody's doing max effort sprints at the end of their like 3 movement workout. And I'm like, man, I feel so horrible today that I'm going to sit here and just pedal along a little bit and trying to be on the one side, trying not to set excuses for yourself that you become lazy or complacent, but on the other side, just like listening to your body. I will never bench press what Ben bench presses. Right. And that is totally cool because I don't need to. Because when I bench press my 115 pounds, or I don't even know what I bench press, I should look at my Chalkit app for that. I know that I'm doing what my body needs to do. And I can push myself, and I do push myself a lot. And then there's plenty of times where I don't push myself. Yep. And you gotta, to put it back to business, like you can compare yourself all you want, but if it's not actually going to benefit you, then you're just peddling water in a place that you don't need to be. So.
And also, depending on how you feel about what you're achieving, that's where the disconnect can be more complicated than what you're describing. Because I totally agree. Like, and I've been doing this fitness thing for almost all my life, so I have a pretty good like feel on when I'm out of shape, when I'm in shape, when I'm this, when I'm that, and so I'm pretty confident with what I'm doing performance wise in the gym. But if I'm out of shape, if I'm feeling fat and I'm feeling slow, then it's a little bit of that like, okay, I do need to push a little bit harder now to get the thing. And I think that's where we come in as coaches to be like, you said this is what you said you wanted. Yeah. You wanted to lose the weight. You wanted to get the speed. You wanted to get the strength, whatever. This is what you're doing. Like these are disconnected. One of these isn't congruent. Like you're either going to have to push a little harder to get to this goal, or you need to understand that this goal is actually not worth the price of admission. And that's fine. Like that's not, if you're confident with that, not wanting the yacht in business or the 8-pack abs and the 4-minute mile in fitness, like that's great. But if you do, then you're going to have to earn it. I don't know. I think that's should have some.
I read almost all of the emails you send out. I like that style that you put them out in. But you often mention things like that, right? It's like, don't make an excuse for yourself, but take it as a sign to say, I got to push a little bit harder now. You just got to be aware of where you're at. And I think that's where your coaches are phenomenal. I mean, I love all of them. I deal a lot with Nick and Lisa there, and Jenny. They're kind of the 6 a.m. normally. Madeline's been there quite a bit lately on, was it Thursdays? Yeah, today.
Yep.
They can see that, right? I sprained my shoulder like a month ago, and I've been struggling at the gym. One sec.
Did you pick up the ladder for me?
I did not. Been struggling at the gym with certain overhead movements and pull-ups and things like that, and they're like, well, let's go find you something else to do, right? They're super encouraging in that, where it's like, don't just like push through, just do it. And that's not the sentiment I get, right? It's like, okay, well, your shoulder's hurting. Jenny was phenomenal. Like the first Monday I came in, I took like a week off the gym, and I told her, I was like, I think I made a mistake. I think I should have been here the day after I hurt it, because I should have been moving it. Instead, I like walked around like this for a week. And she made me do a bunch of things. I moved my shoulder around, and I felt phenomenal that afternoon. But she knew that she's like, okay, well, right now you don't need to be practicing your bar muscle ups. You probably just need to like hold a 5-pound kettlebell and twist your arm around. And that's super encouraging because they can see that. And it's nice that the classes are small enough that even a full 6 a.m. class, you feel like you're getting what you need from it. Some days you don't need to talk to the coach and you just hum along and do your thing. And some days it's like, man, I'm going to need the substitutions for these 3 things. And they're super, super awesome about doing that. So that's really encouraging. Well, so I want to make sure I shared that with you. That's one of the big things I appreciate about the gym.
I'm so fortunate. I mean, they all get it, and that's such a weird, it's not a weird thing to say, but it's, somebody asked me that the other day about what we're about to start our 14th year. And they're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I keep waking up every day and showing up. But realistically, it's that the people standing alongside of me, like they understand where we're going and what we're trying to do, and that we're trying to coach people. But in terms of what you just were describing, like that comes back to that authenticity and vulnerability thing. And it might not feel vulnerable to say, hey, I tweaked my shoulder to you. But to some people, some people are super timid to admit that like something doesn't agree with them. And they're movement allergic to something. And that's totally fine. And none of us as coaches ever sit there and be like, gosh, what is wrong with this wimp? Like, we're like, cool. Like, it allows us some creativity to help. Yep. So I think my encouragement there for people is, again, that vulnerability, like trust us, trust the coaches, and be vulnerable and say, hey, this doesn't work for me. What else can I do?
Yeah. Because on the flip side, you can tell them, hey, I feel like I've been dragging ass. Can you kick me in the ass today to do a bit harder? Like, I feel like I've gotten a bit complacent. Can you push me a bit today? Lisa will stand there and yell. Like, she'll look at you, and Jenny will call you funny names. Like, they'll do something to encourage you if you ask them to do that. And you can tell them, hey, I'm down and out. I barely rolled in the door this morning. Can you help me just like move my body, get me through this morning? They'll do that. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I really
thanks.
I enjoy the 6 a.m. class then as well, because you get that from the coaches, but you also get that from, I don't regularly attend the other classes, so I'm sure it's pretty similar in other classes, but like the 6 a.m. class is a pretty core group that is there. You're going to get 75% of that group that's there every morning. Mm-hmm. So you get that encouragement. Jen, I'm sure you love Jen because everybody loves Jen.
Yeah, how can you not?
She asks me how my shoulder is almost every morning for the last couple of weeks, because she can see that, I'm not doing the full workout, right? This morning we were doing snatches, and I got a 50-pound dumbbell in my right arm. I got like a 25-pound in my left arm. They're watching. They're not making fun of you as a co-classmate. They're like, hey, okay, he's got something going on. Let's encourage him, and that's super fun.
Yeah, totally.
Enjoy that part. Enjoy that part of class.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. I told you an hour, and we're getting close to it.
Holy cow!
Yeah, right. So,
fast.
Where can people find you? How do they get it? What do you guys? Sorry, can you tell us what you guys do, and then how people can find you?
Yeah. So we're Skyrite Roofing and Gutters, and that's what we do: roofing and gutters.
Your elevator pitch down.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Residential re-roofs is a big component of our business. Doing new gutters on or tearing old gutters off. That remodel side is big for us. But then we're also heavily involved in the new construction world. We get to work on some of the coolest houses that get built in this county. I should show you pictures of the gym. We're working on a house in Sagal right now that is like that.
Is the one I'm thinking of? Is the one I'm probably thinking of by Springy Point?
No, not that one. That's Tommy Mello. I told you about that one. That's he's like some big fancy guy in the contracting world. No, this house you can't really see it. It's way up in the hillside.
Oh, cool.
It's a $350,000 roof, which is crazy. Nice. Paid $250,000 for my first house.
Yeah, same.
He's putting a $350,000 roof on. So we get to work on some phenomenal, super cool, custom, complicated new construction roofing. commercial roofing, commercial gutters, Sandpoint, and we're doing quite a lot of work in Coeur d'Alene now as well.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, Bonners, Sandpoint, Coeur d'Alene, anywhere between there is kind of home for us. We're on Boyer Avenue, right here at the airport. We're building a cool showroom, so we are encouraging people to come by, check it out. I love giving little tours of where we're at and introducing my employees. So if you're ever curious what we got going on, come on by. And otherwise, just wave when you see the bright orange and green trucks with the bears rolling around. That's what we're
awesome.
known for.
I love it. Yeah, your rebrand was cool. If we had some more time, that would be a good thing to explore. But
Yeah.
that's it's been cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
sweet, man.
You, Kenny.
And you guys are at what? Did you already say it? Skyrite.com or something? Skyrite something?
Yep, Skyrite.com. Skyrite Roofing and Gutters on Facebook and Instagram, I think. I'm not really on there, but I think we do some things on there. Yeah, we try to be found, but we're also cool with a carrier pigeon. The door's open. You come on by with a carrier pigeon, we'll let them in.
Maybe I think we get along because you're one of the only people that I've heard use carrier pigeons as a reference. So maybe that's it. I love it. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, thanks.
Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate you running an awesome gym and allowing me to be part of that just as a attendee. But you got a cool thing going.
I have nothing. I'd like to say I have nothing to do with it at this point, and it's all you guys making it what it is. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yep. See you in the morning.
Talk to you later.
See ya. All right. As always, thank you so much for listening. If you are so inspired that you want to get started on your fitness journey and need some help, that's what we're here for, especially what I'm here for. So send me an email, kenny@sandpointstrength.com. Happy to help get you started. And if you're already a member, keep on kicking ass, and I'll see you in the gym.